hello. I didn't see you there, Internet. Welcome to Updated Autopsy Report, a podcast from Yotze Ben and Friends where we replay the entire Ace Attorney series with longtime fans and newcomers. I'm your host, Ben, and with me today is Dessy.
Hello.
And two good friends of ours, Tiago.
Yo.
And Rose.
Hi.
Dessy and I are the longtime fans, and Rose and Tiago are the newcomers, and we hope that through both of our perspectives as we play through the series, it'll reveal new details and provide interesting commentary for a series that's near and dear to us. Today, we have all played the second half of the final case of Ace Attorney Investigations 2, The Grand Turnabout. For the summary this week, hey, remember the murder of President Huang? Agent Long sure did. We resume the case with Long dragging everybody out to the scene of the crime to interrogate Courtney and John. Courtney refuses to say why she met the president the other night, even when she's accused of murder. So Long instead accuses John and his falling Mozilla head of being the killer. We don't solve that right this second, but we'll come back to that later, and instead take a detour as we discover the source of the yellow stain on the president's body, a bouquet of lion lilies that Courtney brought. Anyway, 12 years ago, the SS5 incident was a case in which the president was kidnapped, ransomed, and returned to Zhangfa. However, there was also a reporter murdered at the same time, and this happened to be just outside the Happy Family Home orphanage, which, coincidentally, happened to be right where the Grand Tower is now. Kay recreates the orphanage and the crime scene in Little Thief, and off we go. With everyone here, Miles solves the 12-year-old case, flipping the murder around, realizing the president himself was killed by the assassin Dogan and replaced with a body double by Blaze and Patricia Rowland. Not only that, the whole reason that the president was at the orphanage was to visit John Marsh, his secret illegitimate son, who he also planned to legitimize in his will. Dogan shows up and says, "Hey guys, I escaped from prison and was listening this whole time. Now we got to talk about the two kids from the pastry chef case." Through a series of revelations, we uncovered that these two kids grew up to be Horace Knightley and Simon Keyes. Not only that, through process of elimination and who had opportunity, Edgeworth arrives at the sole conclusion that the mastermind behind everything could be none other than Simon. Going to the Big Berry Circus, Edgeworth and Keyes have their showdown, with Keyes quickly dropping his wimpy facade and becoming Joker-fied. After much back and forth with evidence shared and dismissed, a fast-moving hot air balloon from the circus, plus Gumshoe swooping in with the clutch save once again, Edgeworth finally links Keyes decisively to the killing of the president via pollen from the lion lily bouquet. We do get our assassin showdown as DeKiller attempts to take out Simon, but Dogan appears to ask DeKiller for mercy just this once, as he feels responsible for Simon. The assassins depart, Simon is placed under arrest, and we finally wrap up Ace Attorney Investigations 2 with Edgeworth, Gumshoe, and Kay wondering if, perhaps the great Yatagarasu is the friends we made along the way.
God.
So this case.
No, you didn't like that one? Okay.
No, I mean, no, it's not the joke,
it's
Ben.
not you, Ben.
The joke was us. We were the joke. All right, so this case, right? I actually do really like a lot of things about it. I love the parallels and themes of like the fathers and the paths their children take, because like we have Miles Edgeworth and his two dads being Gregory Edgeworth and Von Karma. We have fucking the best with his shitty dad. We have John Marsh with his president dad, but it's also his body double president dad. And then we have Simon Keyes, who the entire reason he went on this Joker arc was because he thought his father was Pierre Hoquet, John Dover, the man who died during the cake incident. But it turned out to be Dane Gustavia, a murderer, and he also followed the murderer route. Horace Knightley also followed like the murderer route in his own way. There's so many like fathers are like a huge theme in this game, and it's kind of incredible. Now, all that to say, my God, this should have been more than one case. This was so many cases.
Holy shit! Yeah.
This was 3 cases.
There were a lot of moving parts.
We solved the case of the president being murdered. We solved John's kidnapping case. We solved a case 12 years ago. and then all that to wrap up is the overarching case. That's like 4 fucking cases.
Right.
They're all tied together by Simon Keyes, the mastermind, who, I was right, we should have killed on sight. We should have brought that motherfucker to The Hague. We should have hanged him.
Our anti-clown sentiment remains intact throughout this
I just
podcast.
bumped my mic a little bit. I apologize if that shows up with the recording. I was so mad about it.
You were just so incensed by this monkey mastermind.
I figured it out too. Okay, this is the power of having a calculator and being concerned about people's ages. As soon as
Yeah.
it was like, oh, the child, at 12 years ago saved my life, Dogen, I was like, hold on, stop, let me get the calculator. So I go through the ages of all the male characters, subtract 12, figure out who's around the right age. There's only 2 male characters who are around the right age for them to be the child.
The
It's
child.
Knightley and Simon. And I go, well, Knightley's dead, so it's Simon.
Yep.
Here's
And
my
I was
thing.
right. I got a little Joker-fied myself in the center of this case, and I had a couple alcoholic beverages and started taking notes, which is how you know that I'm drunk, as I start taking notes.
Holy shit.
Which is a sad thing to say.
Well, I actually
but
did not think
I
it
did-
was fun.
I did
Go
call
ahead.
it.
I died in this case. I got killed, and I got
Oh.
killed because
I want to hear how you died, because I don't think it's the same way that I
No.
nearly perished.
I died so early. Here's what happened, right?
I like that you guys are acting like when your bar runs out, you literally pass
I
away.
die. Yeah.
You die.
Edward just faints in the
It's
middle
not a
of
penalty
the
bar,
lot.
it's a fucking life
Yeah,
bar.
he dies.
He died. I die. What happened
He
was
dies of embarrassment.
it's been 2 weeks since we played the first half of the case, so I forgot most of the shit. So when John asked me like some benign question, I didn't know the answer to it, so I just started mashing all of my evidence, and I just died. It's John Marsh. This child killed me because
Oh.
he asked a really simple question, and my answer was, "Dude, deadass, I forgot Lamau," and then died.
I got hit during the little thief segment because I was clicking on the wrong area, and I was like, I'm right. I know I'm right. The guide. I checked a guide to make sure after I got
you just
told
need
I
to be
was
like
wrong.
2 pixels to the other
Yeah,
side.
I needed to move the cursor like to the left a little bit more.
Yeah.
And I went down like I didn't die, but I went down in health lower than I prefer to be. And I was like, all right. That's it.
I think what fucking gets me for this case is the fact that like we did like the segments themselves. Listener, the way that like the last segment was broken up, there's like the last part of the game that we played is broken up into 3 segments. The first segment was mostly the little thief stuff. The second segment was me chasing after John Marsh to figure out, because once he figured out his dad was the president, he had a bad time about it. And the third segment was you confronting Simon Keyes in the Big Berry Circus. First of all, I need to talk to whoever is hiring people at this fucking circus, because clearly they don't know how to hire people. They hired
it's Regina and Max, so like
We need to put them in the Hague too. If a circus produces 2 killers, that circus should be shut down.
that's a normal circus.
That's true. Most killers just end up at the circus because they're trying to run away from their crimes. This one, they were circus performers and then they decided to kill. So like here's the fucked up thing most of all, is that I actually really do love Simon Keyes' Jokerification. I did not see it coming, and it was sick. I thought it was sick.
The music was really nice. I was quite enchanted with the audio track.
His dumbass hairstyle had a payoff, and I could not have expected that.
Yeah, just letting it all hang down and kind of, yeah.
They really just wanted to make a sexy clown, and
They did.
And unfortunately, he was wearing that god-awful onesie, so it just was never going to work out. But
Honestly, though, he kind of made it work, you know?
I'm gonna
Okay.
agree to disagree on the onesie.
Isn't that what they say in RuPaul's Drag Race? Work, you know,
Make it work.
make it work. He worked it.
I gotta go.
Oh, so here's let's like go back a little bit earlier where we have like also we have Wang and his dad being in it. There's so many fathers in this game.
Again, we barely mentioned Von Karma. Kind of a weird choice.
Well,
I've
Francisco
gotta
Von
say.
Karma.
It wasn't about him.
It
I
wasn't
know,
about him.
but
It was not about him.
it should be because I love him. Terrible
so
old man.
Lang is like, my dad studied the case 12 years ago because he felt like he failed the president. And then Miles Edgeworth is like, he didn't fail the president. He was trying his gosh darn best. Let's review the evidence he had 12 years ago. How the fuck did we like airlift the evidence from Zheng Fa over to Japanifornia so quick?
The same
Don't
way
worry
they get
about it.
DNA test results and shit.
Like fingerprinting
Fingerprint
and all that.
results back in like 30 seconds instead of the like 6 months it takes in real life.
Yeah. So
It's like we have to compare the fingerprints against our incredibly small database that we have in our pocket.
Mm-hmm.
we had to invest. I like straight up. I played the case and I straight up forgot. Also, before I forget, totally justified in having that conversation about the timeline thing, because the fucking president was killed the same night that
Yeah.
Kay was abandoned on the rooftop. Tiago, big brain
Yep.
here.
It turned out to be actually very plot critical because his body
You can
was
go listen to
frozen
my big brain
throw off the
moments
time of
on the Let's Play.
Okay, what do you say on the Let's Play?
I say a lot of correct things.
Oh, okay. You can say. Do you say correct things here?
Tip my cowboy hat. I don't. I'll let you guys do your thing here.
Well, no, you're here too. Don't you get to say correct stuff?
Well, I notably said that this game was daddy issues. And that was absolutely correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I knew the killer was that fucking monkey.
Wait, you knew the killer was Simon Keyes? How the fuck did you know?
I didn't. I just guessed in the very beginning when I saw the monkey. I was like, it's that bitch.
We do hate the monkey.
Anytime money shows up.
Yeah, he's a menace.
On the
be a
other
bad
hand,
time.
he does get to get a couple licks in on Simon then at the end with his breakdown animation, which is very fun.
Alright, so the two great animations during this case. One, Sirhan Dogan shows up to be like, hey everybody, what's up? I broke out of prison just to talk. And everyone's like, you gotta go back. And he goes, nah, I'm not done yet. And then he goes, I'm gonna go find that kid who saved me. I'm gonna like adopt him, Lamau. And then Miles Edgeworth goes, no, you can't. And then Dogan sicks his dog on Miles.
That was over so quickly. I was like, whoa, what the fuck?
What the fuck? Like, a dog attacked Miles Edgeworth this case. He's gonna have dog-related trauma now.
Yeah, this man truly collecting trauma right, left, and center. God love him.
Animation great number 2 was the breakdown animation for I also love the jump animation that John Marsh has whenever Courtney throws down the gavel.
Yeah.
Very important note for the listener. We figured out the Courtney John Marsh timeline thing. She was not pregnant at the age of 12. We can all rest now.
Yeah,
It was an
he was
adoption.
adopted,
He was adopted.
as we expected he might be, although they are related.
They are. So John
Yeah.
Marsh's mother's name is Amy. Amy is the person that the original president of Zheng Fa had a baby with, and Justine Courtney is Amy's cousin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like,
And she has some line to be like, oh, everyone thought we were sisters. You know?
we're so similar that everyone thought we were sisters, and it's like, okay, I don't think this had to be revealed. You could have just said, like, from the cut, he was adopted. That would have been fine.
It explains the plot hole of why they look so similar. They had to do something with that.
Yeah, I just think that when Justine Courtney,
And then also, like, why she would have adopted him in the first place.
Yeah, because whatever happens, she adopted that child, like, pretty young. Like, she's had to still be a teenager when she adopted him. So, like,
Yeah.
even if she waited a few years until he wasn't a baby anymore.
I just think that like age 12, when you I here's my thing. Here's what it is that I'm Justin Corney. I'm 24. I have a 12-year-old son. Questions, right? Questions?
None of your business.
Fair point. But also,
It's no longer Women's History Month.
it's April 2nd.
This is not coming out on April 2nd. This is coming out.
Yeah, we just fucking dox our timeline.
Yeah, we're letting everybody know that we record over a week in advance. But no, this would be coming out April 11th. Either way, it's April.
It's April.
It is
the point
no
being,
longer Women's History Month.
we just gotta say that, like, Justine, we probably would not have had a huge, like, you could have just said, like, John Marsh is my son. Yes, I know it's confusing. He's adopted. You didn't have to explain anything more than that.
Well,
right?
To be fair, like, we're weirdos who are, like, checking everyone's ages with a calculator. You know?
Yeah.
And this game has been previously sweaty in terms of
Yeah. So,
that kind of thing.
Ray Shields may needs to die.
yeah, I'm okay with. I like him, but I think
He is worn out his welcome.
Yeah.
He needs to get a cold bucket of water poured on him at the very least.
Yeah.
Bare minimum.
Sorry, I just had to readjust my mic because some stuff was picking up on it.
Yeah, no worries.
Here's
so
Ray Shields. We have a moment where, like, everyone in the game goes, "All right, get him, Miles. You can do it." And, like,
I wish they would have stopped talking so that I could get him faster.
It's anime. They all gotta lend you their
I
power,
don't want it.
know.
Yeah, fair. There's too much to talk about in this case. There's the fucking Little Thief segment. There's the reinvestigation. There's the
Yeah, I mean, well, we've tackled most of the stuff when they were just standing, when 20 people were all just standing around in the movie lot, which was basically, that was the revelation about the lilies, the Courtney was refusing to talk about why she met with the president.
Which,
and
again, like, Courtney, where'd Hilda die on? Gotta say.
Well, she probably has, like, a fucking there's probably, like,
she couldn't just say, "Let's send John away for a minute." And I'll tell you guys, because it's okay to tell you.
It literally affected the presidency of another country. I think
so much so that Long's dad took the secret to his grave to preserve democracy. Not actually democracy, though.
Yeah, it's sorry, buddy. 12 terms. No.
True. So, like, I can see why she was willing to take that secret to the grave, is because literally, like, it was straight up like a political secret. Like, only the fucking FBI could know this shit. Just inconvenient, you know? Just inconvenient.
Mm-hmm.
Also, like, Justine. So let's discuss the actual murder of the body double, because I need to. There's a point here that bothers me.
Mm-hmm.
Here's how the body double got killed. The body double was seen going up to the rooftop with Justine Courtney.
Mm-hmm.
The body double is standing at an angle or whatever, where he sees this giant fucking balloon come up out of nowhere. The balloon containing both Simon Keyes and a passed out Kay, who he plans to dump here and cause the whole previous case incident. The body double then says, "All right, Justine, go downstairs for your own safety. Don't look behind you. Like this is fucking Orpheus and Tartarus. You can't look behind you. If you do, you'll see a giant
Don't
fucking
turn
balloon.
around or you'll turn into a pillar of salt."
And
I think the implication is that he sent her away a little sooner than this incident started to happen.
he must have seen the balloon. In order,
He might have seen it, like, approaching or something at best. But yeah, they don't get into the details. And Courtney just says, after we were done meeting, he sent me away and stayed there and stayed behind, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like the extent of it.
I
She doesn't even say that the meeting ended early.
But there's the implication that the body double was trying to kill Justine Courtney in order to silence her, and the fact that he was not able to follow through with this plan because this lion balloon appeared.
Right.
So that implies to me that the lion balloon appeared while Justine was there, but Justine did not see it.
Yeah.
Uh,
Then we just have to assume that it was from an angle in which he could see the balloon, but she didn't.
So here's my thing. I'm Justine Courtney. I just met with the president of Zhengfa. He is the father of the son that I adopted. He just told me in a very panicked voice to go down the elevator, don't look behind me, and don't ask questions. I don't do anything about this for 3 days? I shut the fuck up about this? There's a whole other case that happens, and I don't think about the fact that I just met with the president last night? What the fuck, Courtney? What?
Yeah, don't worry about it.
I'm just wondering if she probably did it out of, she cares for John and just does what the guy says because she's aware.
A murder takes place in the same location where I just met the president of Zhengfa, who is now missing. And I don't think these events are related. I feel like her autonomy.
Nobody mentions knowing that the president is missing, despite the fact that he is missing for a day or whatever it is, 2 days.
I just feel like Courtney's whole
sometimes presidents just go places and they don't tell you.
I just feel like Courtney would have fucking done something for the last 2 days instead of just being like, all right, now I will indict Miles Edgeworth and kill him.
Tiago, her motherly instinct was preventing her from.
Fuck off, bro.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I'm not necessarily like a huge fan of Courtney's character in the previous 4 cases.
Yeah.
She's fine. But this is I don't know how else to describe this. This is obviously an overdramatic thing that I'm about to say. And I acknowledge that. But there's a little bit of character assassination going on here in that she all of a sudden, like, as soon as the sun reveal happens, she instantly becomes like 60% more motherly all the time. And the game just kind of fully just leans into that. And there's no interrogation of that at all, right?
I mean, it was kind of funny when
all of that during Women's History Month.
Yeah. It was funny when, like, John, like, talks back to you and she's immediately like, Jonathan, how dare you talk back to, like, blah, 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 and I was like, okay, that's a funny little bit. And then it just overstayed its welcome.
Half the bit was funny. The other half of the bit was like, put that face away, Justine Courtney.
Yeah, it's the face. It's the face that is the problem. Like, let's be real.
Yeah.
I just think that, like, as a character who is clearly so fucking, like, driven by, like, the goddess Allah or whatever, and then should just be like, oh, the president's gone. Okay. What do you mean, okay? Like, I just felt like she had no autonomy. Like, she was just there to be, like, a suspect. And then
see, women either get to be characters or mothers. Those are your 2 options.
Like helpless mom.
Listen, I love me a hot MILF, but, like, this was absurd, okay? If she has a fucking law degree, she should use it.
I feel like there would have been a difference between, like, mom does badass thing to protect son versus mom is helpless because son is in danger.
Mm-hmm.
I even think that, like, mother being helpless because son is in danger is okay. Because, like, fine, whatever. I just think that, like, yo, Justine, you're not gonna ask any fucking questions about the goddamn president on your rooftop? Like, there's
the father of your son?
The father of your son, bro? Like, think about that. Think about that more than not at all.
Who you adopted?
Oh my god. Anyway, the body double got crushed by a fucking hot air balloon, and that's the funniest thing.
I feel like we're lost in the sauce, but I felt like I was lost in the sauce this whole case. So, like,
there's so much going on. Even I had trouble, like, remembering everything.
We hit 5 pages of evidence. Some things were just
the most ever.
Some things were just a leap that was too much for me.
I had no idea I could not guess that Simon Keyes was the mastermind. I just started guessing men. I just started guessing. Like,
that part I knew. That part I had figured out. It was just like some of the jumps were just like,
I guessed Will Powers. I actually put him on the altar to be sacrificed. And I was
Oh
wrong.
dare
no,
you.
he would
It was
never.
It was so easy too. I had no doubt. I was like, it's not me. It's not Lang. Who's another man? Will's
Then
a
also
man.
we're on the final case parentheses S parentheses. And the only person that's been around the whole time that we haven't really talked about was Simon.
Yes. I also just don't think he's important to me.
Yeah, well, the one, when we were doing the Let's Play, the one thing that I think all three of us noted was that Simon showed back up in this final case.
Yeah, that's
fair.
fair.
Which is I know how stories are constructed. So I know that if you want to have your like kind of surprise character from the back, oh, guess what? It's Simon Keyes actually this whole time. You got to introduce them a little bit again. You can't have them not show up at all in the case. So that's why we have him and Regina.
We were literally
to, like, help out with the kidnapping
about him and Regina being there.
Yep.
We were like, why the fuck are they here? This sucks. I hate them.
And that
why.
was my first sign. I was like, oh, they're going to be important. One of them's got to be important. And then, as the timeline stuff started to line up, and I think it was right when, as soon as Dogen was like, okay, let's talk about these two kids, then I was like, oh, I think I know who the mastermind is now, and we were starting to like piece it together then.
Nah, not for me. I was taking blind shots, and I just guessed Simon, and then Miles Edgeworth was like, oh, it's got to be Simon Keyes, and I said, yeah, man, sure, whatever you say.
I used the power of math.
So like,
I used the power of let's find out which two characters are really close in age. Oh, there's two characters that are the same age.
How
you see
about that?
I as soon as I was going through the fucking thing, and then it said, oh, this was Knightley's friend, and I go, oh, duh, of course it's Knightley's friend. They were still friends. That makes sense.
Yeah, and they really hammer it home where they give you like a little flashback to Miles remembering someone being like, oh, me and Knightley are the same. We're the only friends we've ever had since childhood. We both orphans. Like,
yeah,
I let him die.
Yeah.
So
also, like, man, there was some like crazy ass shit that got covered for these like two characters who, like, both turned out to be murderers. Like, this orphanage was not doing a good job with these kids.
I mean, Patricia ran that orphanage, and then she ran she was a prison warden after that.
Yeah.
So,
like, they
just kind of read into that how you will.
Yeah, they definitely make a direct line between like the fact that like Simon was like horrifically abused at the orphanage and like him losing his mind and becoming a fucking Jokerified awful little clown man.
Yeah. They straight up even like, I think there's a line from Edgeworth, I believe, in which he straight up says, Simon was a victim as well of like the whole orphanage system, the justice system, like all these things failed him to put him in this position to then do evil acts, as well.
And like,
which was like more like systemic than this game usually gets into.
Yeah. And even like with Knightley, like his dad forces him to kidnap his own friend.
That's
and like
insane.
Leaves him to die because he's so afraid of his father that he's willing to kidnap and lock up his best friend in a car. Like,
right.
Buddy, like, things are going on that are a lot more dark than you usually get from Ace Attorney, a game about murder.
It's kind of incredible how all these cases do tie together, because I truly felt like the case from 12 years ago was not going to or 18 years ago was not going to fucking like matter.
I knew there was a reason we still had that in our inventory.
It mattered. So like the whole the entire like timeline is crazy. Dane Gustavia and Pierre Hoquet are fighting each other in a candy competition.
I know, it's a pastry competition. You don't need to kill people.
Dude, there is like every motorcycle is revving outside my window. What the fuck is happening? I am on the third floor.
It's Bike Week.
It's Motorcycle Sunday.
All right.
Bike Week at Tiago's house.
It really fucking is. So like Dane Gustavia and Pierre Hoquet are squabbling over some shit over and the pastry competition. So Pierre Hoquet goes, "All right, Horace Knightley, you will now kidnap your friend and put him in a car. They are both in a car. It freezes. They are about to freeze to death
And die.
Die. Dogen, Sirhan Dogen, an assassin, comes out of nowhere, saves these two children who, through the trauma of this incident, lost their memories. They are then placed into an orphanage.
They didn't even get hit with a fire extinguisher. They just got amnesia.
Here's my thought process. Maybe it's not the fire extinguisher. Maybe it's just the cold. Maybe cold gives you amnesia. Fire extinguishers blow cold stuff.
They specifically say trauma caused this amnesia.
Anyway.
Are you sure?
The trauma of cold.
Yeah.
So, like, they then go to the orphanage run by fucking Patricia Rowland, who has connections with Blaze the Best. They decide, and, like, the body double now is like, all right, body double's going to hire Sohan Dogan to kill the president, and then I will replace him. However, a reporter is just there, and that's the most unfortunate thing for the reporter, because he gets killed, and they have to stage it to look like a kidnapping because he created testimony to make it look like it was a kidnapping. So Patricia Rowland, Blaze the Best, and the body double, all three of them creating a super league of villains to orchestrate this event. They then are going to kill Sirhan Dogan to keep him silenced, but little fucking monkey boy, Simon Keyes, goes, "Oh, that's the man who saved me from the freezing car. I'll save him. No one will ever know." Except they did know. They proceed to grill that child for so long that he becomes the Joker.
I was wondering if it was gonna be because they're like, oh, the child that gave the testimony disappeared shortly after this because like Blaze was like hounding him, and I was like, is the boy who drew the picture Sebastian?
I thought that as well.
I wasn't sure because this was during the time when I had a beverage, so I was kind of like goofing around, but I thought that was
okay,
like...
You can say you were drunk.
I did already, but... but, you know... also...
I was pre-zooted.
Just checking my notes here. Miles says post-haste and ergo way too much in this case.
I did notice that as well.
So, like, don't play a drinking game based off that, is what I've got to say to you kids.
Did you?
No, but I considered it and then realized that would be a terrible idea.
Okay, good.
But then it was too late because, you know, things happen.
So then we, like, fast forward about, what, 12 years? 12 years, and then this entire incident starts up again with Simon Keyes going, "I will now enact my revenge on the body double," and all this shit. Simon Keyes hires Shelly the Killer to kill the body double, but doesn't let the Shelly the Killer know that is actually a body double and not the real president. That's why Shelly the Killer is pissed, is because he was tricked on the identity of his victim.
You can't trick the killer.
You have to lie.
That goes against his code.
Yeah.
I really thought the breaking of his noble code was going to be, like, more noble, but it really was just like, hey, man.
You lied to me, bro.
He's lawful evil. I have my laws, and I'm following them, and I'm also evil.
You gave me the wrong order, sir. I'm going to kill you now.
I mean, it is a pretty big difference between killing the president and killing the not president, though.
But at this point, the body double is the president. He became president. I feel like the distinction is murky.
I mean, Shelly's not normal.
Okay,
like, fucking look at him. He's a weird, weird guy.
It's true. You got.
If you throw the not normal clause into this, I see your point.
That's the whole game.
He's
That's
doing
the whole
his
series.
own goddamn. They're his rules, and he made them up, and he's following them. Goddammit! And if you don't, well, that's rough, buddy.
They're pretty straightforward. Like, don't lie to me.
Yeah.
Don't lie to me.
Don't breach our trust.
And pay me.
Pay
properly.
me. Pay me. Work.
And he tries to stab Simon. Like,
He does.
He's going for it. Like,
Hey, that fucking pick though between him and Dogen was pretty
yeah,
good.
we
That
did
was
get
a
our
sick-
assassin fight as predicted.
I really did. I actually owe Des $1 because I remember the
Mhm.
bet. The bet was I don't believe Sirhan Dogen was going to show back up, and I was fucking wrong.
You don't put two assassins in the game without them meeting each other.
I guess. So like here's the wildest part is that Simon Keyes goes, I will now orchestrate the fall of everyone around me like a puppet master. They're all fucking rats dancing on my stage. I own the flea circus.
I am the circus.
I am the circus. Horace Knightley just decided to kill that guy. Completely unrelated to his plan. And then ends up in prison.
He wanted more power.
At the same prison where Patricia Rowland just happens to be the fucking warden. And then, like...
Well, the thing is that Simon was claiming was that, he was setting up the dominoes, right?
Yeah, but...
He was setting up all the pieces to be knocked over, and he was pouring gasoline on the fire, and so he amped up, Patricia's, paranoia by kind of setting up all these pieces so that what he hoped would happen would be exactly what did happen.
The thing about it, though, there's a line that really fucking throws me off where he says, I did not think I'd be arrested when I visited the prison. And you guys really did fucking save me there. Thank God. This man got so fucking lucky.
He got lucky as hell.
He got lucky at every fucking step. Dan Gustavia just happened to be in town to fucking uncover the body from 18 years ago. Like, everyone he hated got luck. Like, half of his fucking master plan was a coin toss. And he won every coin toss. It was crazy. Like,
damn clown.
Fucking clown. That entire prison case, he could have died. Like, he could have just lost and died right then. But he didn't. And that was I'm, like, not over it. And then the rest of the dominoes with, like, him kidnapping Kay to create, like, Miles Edgeworth's investigation towards Blaze the Best. And, like, him telling Jill Crane and Blaze the Best to shoot each other. Why the fuck did he have it out for Jill? Jill was just a bystander in all this. But sure, yeah, I guess she gotta die too.
I think he was just playing the guess to see, like, okay, if she kills Blaze, I win. If he kills her, Miles will catch Blaze. I win.
True. Yeah.
So it didn't really matter to him, like, which outcome he gets, as long as, like, Blaze goes down, and he goes down either way.
Yeah, he actually, that's a very good point. He did actually end up on top of either way. I'm just surprised that, like, he's like, yes, I'm an animal tamer, and I did all this shit, and then part of me is just like, dude, what the fuck? This man just won a gachapon several times, and got it correct. It's just very funny to me that he's like, oh, I'm a mastermind, but also, like,
imagine the
Christ,
thrill of being
close.
right.
I imagine
played the
every day.
odds.
Winning constantly.
So then we confront him. So, like, then the past 3 days occur, in which Miles got indicted, all that shit, whatever. And then we finally confront him at the circus, and he goes through his Jokerification arc. The little animation of the pig holding up a chipmunk, holding up a cat so that he can rest his arm on it to show that he's actually, like, a super cool animal tamer is strange. Why?
He has
like
so
that
much
one?
control over them that he can make them do that.
Why? Here's my thing. If I'm standing, right, and I want to
Mhm.
lean over with my arm, I don't know if I'd pick a cat, a pig, and a chipmunk.
That was for comedic effect!
I guess,
Yeah.
but, like,
I like how it's like a chipmunk, but it's also got like a squirrel tail. So it's like they told somebody to draw squirrels and they didn't look up a picture of a
I feel like if
squirrel.
I'm
It's
going to
reference.
Honestly,
lean on
perfect. No notes.
if I'm going to lean on an animal, I'd choose, like, a big old tiger or something. So then, like, we confront him, we defeat him with logic. A whole part of the conversation that we're doing is like, oh, how can you connect me to any of this? I left no trace. And I'm just like, you left so many traces all over this that we figured out is you. Like, obviously you're connected to this.
I
So
like
then
that we did the thing where Miles touches the car,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
so his fingerprints
The
are on the
Columbo thing.
car,
That was Columbo.
That was
Columbo as hell.
very Columbo. I was delighted. That literally happens. It's probably my favorite Columbo episode, maybe.
It's like one of the
Yeah.
best Columbo.
Oh, it's so
episodes,
good.
One
honestly.
of the best.
Emma Skye shows up and she lets us do the fingerprint.
Yeah,
Just
she
to be
does.
clear, if let's see here. Shoot. Nope, that's the wrong one. Continue talking. I want to tell people the name of that episode so that they can watch it.
Yeah,
Understood.
please. The best.
So like Miles Edgeworth is fucking.
Isn't that the one with the painting?
Yeah, it's the one with the
Yes,
painting.
it's Columbo Suitable for Framing is
That's
the title
right.
of that.
Good title. Good title.
So great one if you wanna just watch a one-off Columbo episode.
Oh,
Either
it's
it's
so
either
good,
that one
everybody.
or like Every Port in a Storm.
yeah,
it was also a really
that
good
one's
one.
Great.
So
If you like Ace Attorney, you will probably enjoy Columbo.
Dude, it's
What
kinda
a coincidence that this Ace Attorney podcast all loves Columbo.
Yeah, what a surprise. Also, if you haven't watched Poker Face, give that a shot too.
yeah.
So like Simon Keyes, sexiest
You're like
pop-
Ryan Johnson. Give us a shout out, bro.
Mr. Ryan.
What if Ryan Johnson made an Ace Attorney movie?
I would watch it.
Oh.
I'd watch it. That's just a fact.
I have some things to. I would shake Mr. Johnson's hand and then I would also slap him, and I think
Bro.
that's a quality. You take that.
I'm
Sorry,
curious-
Ryan.
I'm curious to see why you would slap him, but this is not the podcast.
This
for
because
it.
we're on the wrong podcast for that, buddy.
We're on the wrong
Yeah, true.
podcast.
Oh,
We're
I know
generally
why.
pro Ryan Johnson on the whole, though.
Oh yeah, no, it's fine. He's
More
fine.
more good than bad. Yeah.
So,
Anyway,
We do the whole Columbo bit in which Simon is like, well, there's no evidence on the truck, right? But Edgeworth is like, well, I touched the truck, so let's see if it was my fingerprints that were on that truck, because if they are, then that means it was the same truck that you used, and that is how you link him back to the truck that transported the balloon and was also there the day that John Marsh was kidnapped.
also the most damning thing ever is the fact that like, in order to throw off the date of the corpse death timing, the fucking Simon Monkeys, he brings the corpse to a refrigeration warehouse where the Berry Circus is keeping all their animal feed. And that is possibly the most damning piece of evidence possible, is the fact that the corpse was in a location owned by the circus.
Or rented out by the
circus, and then Regina goes, oh yeah, Simon handles all that. And Simon's just like sweating the biggest bullets when fucking...
yeah, Regina just fucking gets him too. She's like, oh, Simon did this and that and this and that, and here's a letter for you, Simon. And he's just like, holy shit. It's like, this is what you get.
He's so close to calling her the B word. It's like I can see
He's
on his
thinking
face.
it. He
He's
can't say
thinking
it because of the rating of this game, but he would have if he could have.
So, I think someone said, God damn it. I actually like remember seeing that in the text and being like,
I
whoa.
mean, remember, this is a fan translation, so theoretically they could do whatever they want. But they keep
said
the
fuck.
stylings
Yeah.
of the regular localization here,
Uh,
which is occasionally you get a hell and occasionally you get a damn it, basically.
Yeah.
Every once in a while.
So like we don't kill Simon Keyes, but like we basically get him like dead to rights.
We basically kill
And
him.
the funniest thing is that all the animals turn on Simon, and they all attack him. Every animal in the circus attacks him, and
They all get a good.
this man takes a punch to the chin from a gorilla. We now
It's
have
great.
a new murder case to solve, which is who killed Simon Keyes. It
Twas
was the
me.
gorilla.
Yeah, I don't know if it's much of a mystery, but
Yeah.
yeah,
They all listen to
takes that
him
on the chin.
and all that jazz until they find out that he wasn't really their friend, and then they get really mad.
Yeah, all the
Yeah.
animals understand betrayal, which is the strangest emotion for an animal to understand. So like Simon Keyes, he gets arrested, and then we have like our post-credit thing where like every single person that we talked to in this game had like a now you're off doing better stuff, you know, and like Regina, John Marsh and Courtney, whatever.
We did pass up on one tiny little beat as well, which is the resolution of John Marsh's revenge arc, which is a very, very minor subplot in the rest of the mass of this game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he wants
But-
revenge for the death of his father, who he never met.
Yeah, he wants revenge against Dogen for the
I
death
mean,
of his
that's
dad.
fair.
that he-
Like you find out who your dad is, and then you also find out that somebody murdered him like 10 years ago. You'd be like, "What the
Right.
fuck? I just found out about my dad, and you killed him? This sucks." You know?
yeah,
I know, but the other part of me is just like, you basically have no emotional connection to that man, so...
Yeah, so he gets over it real fast.
Yeah, he's like,
so
I can't get revenge because it would betray the people around me, and Justine Courtney.
Who actually cared about me
Yeah.
at this time.
My
Justin
mom would be
Courtney.
Yeah.
sad. Truly,
a
the only
mother.
Dogen
reason.
like lifts his neck up so that and like holds his knife chisel right up and he's like, "Go ahead, do it, kid. Take me out in one shot."
You're 12.
And
You won't.
he's like, "No, can't do that."
Dude, what if he did it though? That'd be crazy.
He's like, no, that's scary.
What if he actually like fucking took the knife though? That'd be kind of wild.
Then Simon would probably be dead.
Yeah, true.
'Cause Shelley would have killed him.
Yep.
And then John Marsh would have a new dad, Shelley the Killer. This is my new show. So like, we also get a resolution from Miles' his little arc. Guess what, everybody? He's still a prosecutor.
Yep, exactly as I predicted at the
Yep.
start.
Exactly as I
appreciate-
predicted, knowing how future games go.
Hey, I
Sure.
appreciate that he took my fucking advice and was like, I'm gonna actually like, I'm gonna try and change the law. And it's like, okay, cool,
Mhm.
that's what I wanted you to do. Thank you, Miles. We'll see if he
Guess what?
actually
He
does it.
he doesn't take a break because the next thing happens like a week later.
Oh my
Sure.
god.
Yeah, that's the thing is that Iro looked up the exact timing for the next case. And so unless we are completely misunderstanding the timeline, it appears that the next, like a week or two later, literally the inciting events for Apollo Justice happen, in which Phoenix Wright loses his badge in court.
Oh,
wow, dude.
Literally 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
So like everything starts to spiral out of control the instant that Edgeworth and Justine are like, we resolve to change the system from the inside, and then it immediately all falls the fuck apart.
It just immediately destroys
And
the
the
life
dark age of the
man
law.
Miles loves.
Yeah, the dark age of the law immediately kicks into full gear, and Christoph Gavin is murdering people. Like all this
Oh,
stuff starts
Christoph,
happening
I
like
miss
immediately after, like they're like, you know what? I think we can really do it. I think we can improve the law system to help, everybody. And then it just fucking shatters in their
I mean,
hands.
Definitely.
Well, they're prosecutors. What happens on the defense attorney side isn't their problem.
Miles finds out that Phoenix loses his badge and immediately like spirals into a depression and goes to Europe, because that's what he
Yes.
does when
Yeah.
he's depressed.
He goes to Super
Yes.
Europe. He finds a new Europe to go to.
There's lots of
Uh,
countries in Europe.
He goes to that one that they made up. So like, here's what like Miles' Edgeworth thing is like. He's like, I'm gonna choose to follow the prosecutor's path because I want to fight crime and save people through prosecution. Because even Simon Monkeys was a fucking victim. And that's all like fine and dandy, man. But you couldn't have this realization like 2 days beforehand. So you would have had investigation rights. I don't know, man. You could have had this arc while you were in the fucking court case. I really
Listen, stories, man.
I really don't think Simon Monkey was the turning point for you, Miles Edgeworth, Like, I really don't think that he's the fucking core memory that you needed to develop in order to realize that you need to be a prosecutor.
Also, like Miles
pop
is
off.
describing like situations where like, oh, the system like failed him, and I'm like, the system's failed you, buddy. Like this has
you were
happened so many times.
But he really needed a clown to be prosecuted in order for him to change, So
Oh man.
So it's very funny that like we have all that arc and then we go back to his office and then they're just like, okay, Kay, what are you gonna do now? And Kay's like, you know what? Watching
IDK.
I don't know. I was
Watching-
17 years old.
She's like, oh yeah, she's still 17. It's funny.
Go back to school.
It's,
Go to college.
dude, she has so many degrees. She stole them all.
Good for her.
She stole all that knowledge.
So her arc is simply just like, Yeah, I watched Miles go through that whole arc of not following his father's path, and maybe I don't need to follow my dad's path. Maybe I don't need to be the great thief Yatagarasu, but I'll still keep the name. And everyone's just like, okay, so like, does that really change anything? You're still alright, whatever. And Gummy's like, I'm gonna follow the path of a detective, and we're all just like, what the fuck? You had an arc too?
I mean, yeah, he did
He
a
got a
little bit.
raise.
It was a baby arc.
He
but,
got a-
you know, Gumshoe had his doubt where it's like, I don't have my best bud Edgeworth by my side anymore. What does that mean for me?
I don't have my best
Can
buddy.
I investigate on my own? And he does that, you know, and he comes in with the
He
with the
saves our
information about
ass.
the big with the Big Berry
He
Circus
would have had a
running the
spin-off show. He would have been fine.
Yeah, Columbo.
No, he'd be like the Patrick Star show. You know, because he's the Patrick Star to Miles Edgeworth's SpongeBob.
Okay.
You think?
if you say so.
I feel like Miles Edgeworth is literally the complete opposite of SpongeBob.
I
but
do.
okay.
Listen, I do recognize as soon as I said it that Miles Edgeworth is a Squidward, but that's not the point we need to make here. Okay, we need to move on. So we all have like a moment we're all hugging inside the fucking office, and then we cut to like all the other side characters going through their arcs of how their life is way better. Justin Courtney got to see a movie with her son in it. Her son's a movie star. Who's that? Who's the cook who likes to eat? That baddie? What's her name?
Oh,
Delicia
Julie
Scones.
Yeah, she's fine too. There's the other baddie in the cooking case. What's her name? Kathy.
Yeah, the singing lady.
The singing lady. She's in prison, but she gets to eat cake every day because Jeff Master brings cake all the time. I think it's very funny that when Patricia Rowland got arrested, I was like, I can defend her, and then she does so much more worse shit. She kept doing worse and worse shit.
She did like so many bad things. Like there was. My goodness. Also, like.
Go ahead.
One thing that I still think we focus so hard on like Simon and his you know, like puppet master clown mastermind nonsense. But like the fact that like Blaze and Patricia and this like fucking stunt double guy whose name we don't learn. We never learn this man's name. He's just called the president's body double.
Yeah, he's called the body double.
Yeah, like obviously he sucks and he's a murderer. But like literally we don't know this guy's real name. They just all were like, what were they, like hanging out at a bar? Like the chief prosecutor, a random like body double, and like the owner of an orphanage, and like what the fuck? And they all made a weird deal. I assume he was paying them a lot of money, but like, kind of why? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Even for his attorney.
I don't know if it's ever made specifically clear exactly, you know, which came first. Whether they were like, we've got a body double who looks like the president. Let's make an evil plan around this.
Yeah.
Or if it was, okay, we've already got some things in motion. Let's find a body double to finish top this plan off with a cherry on top kind of thing.
Yeah.
No, the
murder did definitely seem like a bit of a crime of opportunity, though. When the president was killed by Dogen, kind of thing, that would like set up then was a bit of a crime of opportunity, and they were like, okay, we got to figure out a way to make this look like a kidnapping instead, so we can finally get our guy in.
No, I believe that the plan was always to kill the president at the orphanage, and then the body double is going to step in regardless. The reason they made it look like a kidnapping is because of the testimony from the reporter who contacted his girlfriend, Jill Crane, and said, oh my god, the president's at the orphanage. I think there's about to be a kidnapping, and then the body double
right. You're right. No, you are right. I was again mixing up the details of this case.
Tell me it's 5 pages of pages of evidence.
There's so much shit happening in this case. The only reason I'm able to remember some shit is simply because I hate it so much. But I also love it.
Wow.
I actually do love this case.
This was not my favorite case.
It's not my.
I liked it.
No, it's not my favorite case. But
it turned out
I didn't like it. I didn't like it while we were doing it, but then after everything was done and everything tied together, I was like, oh, actually, this is kind of a nice little ending.
I
I
liked.
I mean, it's
how
like
it
I like
wrapped
the
up.
moments,
Yeah.
right? Like I like a lot of the moments in here. I like Sebastian's arc wrapping up. I
Oh yeah, that was
love,
this
you know,
case,
how
huh?
yeah, that was this case. I love how that stuff wrapped up. I liked some of the goofy shenanigans with some of the character moments that we get in this. I liked the showdown, with Simon. I liked having the assassins show up there, all that stuff was pretty fun. But there is a lot of I felt like for me, where it really trudged was the orphanage stuff.
Oh my
Like
god.
it felt like we were ramping up to shit happening, and then we had to stop and go back, essentially, and
when you're
halt
just
immediately
hanging out in the
and start
lot,
doing this investigation.
yeah, like
Right,
I'm like,
and everybody's
okay,
just standing in this lot.
this
It
is
feels
it.
like you're not going
surely
anywhere.
we'll go somewhere interesting. And then we
But
just
no, we're going to stand in this
yeah.
lot for 90%
and
of it.
I got real frustrated in them, and some of it I think was a little bit of knowing that Tiago was like, hey, this took me a really long time and I died, and I was like, oh shit, it's gonna take me a really long time and I'm gonna die. But also I did just get frustrated on my own, and connecting things just wasn't there was just some leaps of logic that didn't make any sense.
I feel like a lot of the stuff in this case, you kind of just it felt like leaps of faith. A lot of it was Mario jumping off a cliff and just hoping that there's a platform on the other side. And
Yeah.
Literally, Assassin's Creed is right there with the thing called Leap of Faith.
I play good
You
games.
choose Mario.
I choose good games.
Shush.
Jeez, that's right. Fuck
Assassin's Creed 1, 2, and Brotherhood were good.
I do like the 2 series. Anyway,
I like the one where you sail the boat.
that's 4, I think.
Black Flag.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
I think the thing about this case is that at a certain point I was just lost. I didn't know why we were. Oh my god.
yeah, I was pretty lost
It's
at
hitting you,
I'm
isn't
sleepy.
it?
some point.
I'm sleepy right now. Listen, my dog woke me up early to walk in earlier, and I'm like, oh god.
Yeah, we
The
redid our
well-
kitchen this weekend.
This.
Let's
Go ahead.
go ahead and finish up before I was going to bring us back around to a final thing then.
I just
Yeah,
think
yeah.
that a lot of things in this case were required leaps of logic that the game doesn't normally require us to make, but assumes that we retained information from
Yeah, it doesn't
3
give you the option to
cases
go
ago.
back and watch things or read things.
Yeah,
Yes, there was some part where it's you have to. I forget. There was some part where you needed. Oh, it was the part where you have to select where the murder / kidnapping took place, and that's the part where I almost died because I was clicking in the wrong place. But it doesn't let you go back and check the evidence or anything.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah,
just
you're
sort
just
of
stuck in that menu.
So I couldn't. That's why I had to eventually move to the guide, because I couldn't go back and check and see oh, I must be missing something. But there's nowhere for me to go from here. I'm locked into this screen and I can't get out.
yeah.
And
Right,
I've
right.
been wrong my last 3 guesses, even though I was so sure I was right.
Yeah. The game does require you to either make leaps of faith or to remember information that is not readily available. It's not if it was in the evidence, that'd be different, but it was not. There's no evidence marker for, oh, he was found in a warehouse. And although I really do enjoy this case, I do think I think this case could have been broken up to at least 2 more, 2 cases. 'Cause
Yeah.
It felt
Yeah, I
like
loved-
3.
I loved
Yeah.
Sebastian's case. I was all about
That
that.
was
That was
sick.
awesome.
I can't believe we solved that case and 3 others in one
In
day.
3 hours, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not 3 hours for me, 3 hours for them.
Bro. All right. Yeah.
All right. So I wanted to quick summarize for this game. We had at the start, we had Turnabout Target, which was the initial presidential
Mhm.
foe assassination.
Yep.
Right. We had the Imprisoned Turnabout, which was the prison case, meeting all the goofy
Animal.
prisoner characters
Yep.
and first taking down Patricia Rowland. Then we had the Inherited Turnabout, which was the pastry chef case, and we got to do the back and forth in time with everybody. And then we had the Forgotten Turnabout, which was the one just prior to this, in which, Kay lost her memories and everything, and we found the hidden auction room. And then obviously we had this case, the Grand Turnabout. So, with that little summary, what is your favorite case this game so far? I think I think I do like the Forgotten Turnabout, the one immediately prior to this, just a smidge more. But I like a lot of the moments in this one, and some of the individual moments in this one are stronger than the whole case. But the Forgotten Turnabout still has like kind of its overall a little bit more consistent. Also, it's a little shorter, so it kind of like
tastes
comes
better.
in. Yeah, it punches good. It has a hard hit, real quick. And also, I remember being really satisfied by seeing a bunch of characters, finally interact that we wanted to interact for a while, getting Blaze established, that sort of thing. But and then maybe Imprisoned Turnabout would be one I also found pretty decent. But that was also because I was really fascinated by the ways that the game both did and did not want to comment on the prison system. I found that pretty fascinating. Did you have a favorite case out of this game, Dessy?
I think probably the second case with the animals and the prison. Because it felt like, because of all the characters and stuff and the way that it was being done, felt like it kind of had a similar feel to the first game. And it's just, I don't know, it hit like a nostalgia thing for me, and I was just like, this is fun. This makes me think I'm a teenager again.
How about you, Rose?
I am torn. I think gameplay wise, the Forgotten Turnabout was my favorite. And also just like, I really liked Blaze. I thought he was a great villain. I just thought that was a really nicely done case. But I think my favorite is gonna have to be the sort of like the Jeff Masters case, the sort of like double like flashback to play as Gregory Edgeworth. I really enjoyed Gregory Edgeworth, and I think that even though that case was a bit long, and I definitely had a couple issues with it, and also Larry was there. But I think that might still be my favorite from just a thematic and thematic perspective. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah. And Tiago.
It's the Inherited Turnabout because it has the most hot women.
Okay.
Catherine Holland, Alicia Jones. Thanks, shout out to the baddies.
Simple as that.
Simple as that, baby. No, I'm kidding.
Even Larry was
Larry's kind
during the
of
credits.
a guy after my own heart. But like,
don't compare yourself to him.
But I'm better, and smarter. And
yeah,
cooler.
you are better than Larry. That's true.
No, I actually do think that my favorite case is this final one. While I do disagree with the length of it, and I kind of like.
I disagree with how long it is.
Yeah, I disagree with how long it is. Honestly, Judge, you could cut some parts out. The thing about it for me specifically is that I feel like in this case in particular, I had to make a little bit more leaps of logic, and for a game that's so based around ooh, logic is my power. Even Simon Keyes goes at one point, I used you, Edgeworth, and your so-called logic, and Edgeworth goes, wow, you used my logic like it's a fucking stand.
You barely use logic in the last half though. You don't mind chess anybody. You use logic twice.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think it's very funny that in this game that shows a lot of new mechanics, we don't use them for the final half. We have to use just good old fashioned debating, and I think that is kind of interesting of itself. That the core Ace Attorney gameplay is good enough to stand on its own two legs. I also love a good old Joker turnaround. Who doesn't love a good Jokerification? Um,
I don't like it when it happens to me.
I honestly, it's a freeing when it happens to me. When I
One
get
thing that I
Joker-fied,
did think was
Yeah.
cute was you mentioned debating, Tiago. The part where you and Lang are trying to figure out what happened like
Yeah.
12 years ago, and he's like, "All right, here's my idea. I want to hear your idea. Let's do this together."
It's
And then
so
it cuts into
collaborative.
the debate. I was like, "Wow, you're the first character to, instead of like arguing with me, be like, all right, this is how we figured things out in the past. Let's do this. I'll tell you my idea, you tell me your idea, and we'll put them together." I was like, "Oh, that's nice."
Somebody's not inherently against me? What the fuck?
Yeah.
There's definitely a fanfic out there where Lang and Edgeworth touch lips.
Oh,
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely.
yeah, they're both having a bad rebound time right now, I feel like. So,
Oh yeah, because Lang lost.
This is
Yeehaw.
just daddy issues, the game, so.
yeah.
So like I do think that my favorite case in this one is Forgotten Turnabout, but my second favorite is Inherited Turnabout because of all the hot women.
Mhm. All right.
Okay.
Well,
I wanted
we-
to note something.
Okay.
Sure.
Dogen's dog is like 20 years old.
Yeah,
It's true.
That dog
That
is
dog
so
is a
old.
god.
That dog is old as balls.
I actually forgot a key moment that I did want to bring up right before we wrap this up. There's a moment where Justine Courtney's like, "Man, I tried my best to be an impartial judge, and I think I failed." And then Miles Edgeworth goes, "I know a certain judge who's more human than any man I've ever known.
That's
He
my
laughs,
dad.
He cries, he falls for anything, but he always delivers the right verdict because he's human." And I'm like, although that's a very nice compliment you paid to this man, terrible judge. Terrible judge.
How dare you?
Low key needs to be a little impartial. Just a little bit, you
He's
know?
so
Oh,
partial,
man.
he goes back around the other way, so he'll
That's
believe
true.
fucking any bullshit anybody says.
He's a
Including
fucking
me.
he's a fucking Tinkin character wrapped up in this anime arc.
Horseshoe theory, but for judges' impartiality.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, that's my final
Uh,
note.
Okay. Well, yeah, that is Ace Attorney Investigations 2 in the bag. This is the only one that I hadn't played. So this is the only time that you, gentle listener, have ever gotten me also discovering things along with everyone else on the podcast. After this, I go back to being their guide in the wilderness. Moses leading his chosen people through this desecrated courtroom of goofy clowns
Walk
and
me right into the ocean.
waiters and chefs and
Commandment 1,
assassins,
shut-
apparently.
Shut the hell up. Commandment number 2, I can't do anything about the sun. Commandment number 3, there are no
Yeah.
more Jolly Ranchers.
So, after this is also the last 2D Ace Attorney game.
Yeah.
After this, everything is 3D from here on out. They use essentially like a 3D model system where they attempt to replicate the visuals, but it is still 3D models. So we will be doing Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney next. However, our episode that you would listen to 2 weeks from now will be a bonus episode. I'm not going to spoil what it is, but there will be a little bonus episode there to fill the feed because we're taking a quick break before we jump into Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright.
We need a break after this, our dear beautiful
Yep.
listeners.
We just
This
need
is
a
a
little
haul.
bit of spacing. And so then I will do my best to put up a list of how we're going to be breaking it up because this game is divided into chapters instead of cases. It is kind of just one large story in which these two characters bump into each other. But it is divided up into chapters. So we'll kind of do them in batches that way. And we hope that you'll play along with us. I also want to swing by our iTunes review page because we got a couple reviews from folks and I wanted to give them a shout out.
Woo!
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. From Diamond Breaker. Hilarious, hectic, and a great Ace Attorney podcast to listen to. Updated Autopsy Report is a great podcast to listen to if you want an interesting take on Capcom's Ace Attorney series. Keeps me wanting more. every time I listen to a new episode. Thank you, Diamond Breaker. I really appreciate you taking the time to rate us on iTunes.
That's so sweet.
We got one as well from Kiki McGee 18. Thank you for they said, currently my favorite podcast.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa, slow down, buddy.
This podcast is absolutely wonderful. Anybody who has played or is playing through the Ace Attorney series should give this one a listen. It's so fun getting to hear others' thoughts, and the host's excitement and enjoyment has you laughing right along with them. Personally, I'm always so excited to get a notification that there's another episode coming out. Perfect for people who are playing for the first time, like myself, or for old fans who want to give the series a revisit. Thank you, Kiki. That was a wonderful review, and that's exactly what I wanted this podcast to be in the first place, is a companion piece to the games to, listen along as you play with them.
Hell yeah.
And then we've got a third review. We got 3 reviews since we last recorded. By 9 Studio says, an excellent Ace Attorney companion. This podcast makes an excellent companion piece to any Ace Attorney playthrough. The hosts are charming, witty, and sincere. Oh, thank you. That's high praise. They aren't afraid to call out poor design, dated stereotypes, etc., while still appreciating all the goodness that the series has to offer. I especially appreciate the inclusion of design notes from the game's creators, and that 2 of the hosts are fresh faces to the series, so we have fun seeing them make predictions and reacting to all the absurdity. Is that enough evidence for you? Take that.
Thank you.
Oh, that's
thank you.
cute too.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys are so adorable.
I also am glad that you appreciate that we do the design notes and kind of talk about some of the production. I apologize. I didn't have that for Ace Attorney Investigations 2, but I didn't want to spoil myself. So that will be returning for the future, and I will do my best to try to find interesting development tidbits to bring up during discussion. And yes, we have made no bones that we are like prison abolitionists and leftists. So, us playing through a game about attorneys and the law and the legal system, we hope that when we bring those opinions in there too, makes sense and is hopefully decent commentary. But, listen, the whole reason I'm doing this in the first place, and the whole reason that we're doing this is because we love this game series. It's a really unique game series within just games as a whole. And, there's something special about it. So I hope that people enjoy playing along with us. So, yeah.
It'd be kind of wild if we came out of this entire podcast and me and Rose are just like, actually, fuck Ace Attorney.
Oh no!
I guess it's not impossible, but I feel like we're already 5 games in. So if you guys like these 5,
Oh, I would definitely chew my food. You'll hate it though. No, I love this game.
I would have stopped. Because if I'm reading something or playing something and I'm not having a good time, I just stop.
The only time I've ever done that was with the visual novel Steins Gate, and that says a lot.
For me, it's Jules Verne. God bless the man, father of science fiction. I can't handle it. I don't need to know how the submarine works, buddy. It's okay.
Oh, fucking
all right.
So, also, I just want to step in real quick. It is, as you know, it is April 2nd, 2023. Really, I want to get the exact timing here. The Nintendo eShop is now down, and those are unfortunately the last way you could have gotten the next series of games they were about to play. Professor Layton and the other Ace Attorney games. Listen, it's actually surprisingly easy to hack your 3DS.
Oh, here we go.
And you can end up on websites, and there's special files, and then when you download them, you have a game. I don't know anything. I don't know where you could get to these
Make
websites.
sure
yeah, we don't know
that,
anything about
that's
this.
Illegal.
That's illegal.
Course.
Yeah.
So
we don't know anything about this.
Miles would put us in prison.
But if you were to take a bite
Speaking of issues with the legal system,
internet conservationism, I'm just saying that if you take a bite of this fruit of knowledge and you bite into it and there's an Ace Attorney game in there, good stuff,
Right.
So the other way that you could, like, if you don't want to go through that route, to like see how the next games are gonna play out, is to watch the YouTube series at YouTube.
Whoa.
That's right.
Well, thank you for that segue. That's perfect. So yeah, you can follow the show and get notified of the latest podcast episodes as well as the latest Let's Plays on Twitter at Ace Attorney Pod, on co-host at Ace Attorney, or on our website, updatedautopsy.report. You can follow me on all social media at Yotseben. Dessy, where can people find you?
Yes, this is Des on Twitter. Until, please, I'm begging somebody to find something better and let me know.
And Tiago?
You can find me at Tiago S. Dieter on various social medias. Me, Ben, and Iro just started playing Paranormous on the YouTube channel. It's pretty fun. I like that ghost shit.
Yeah, I guess I can plug that now as well. Yeah, Paranormous Sight was another visual novel that just came out recently, and on a whim, Tiago and I decided to record us playing through it. So it's not a very long game. We are most of the way through it now. By the time you hear it, another episode will be up, and I think we might only have 1 or 2 more episodes to go after that. So it's definitely more bite size, and it's really fascinating stuff.
It's
so
good shit.
Yeah, check that out on the YouTube page as well. And then Rose, how about you?
You can find me at Rose Nonsense in various locations. And I'd also like to take the end of the podcast to thank the fan translation team for allowing us to be able to play this game.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
You guys,
100%.
you did it. You did a good job. You threw a lot of more references in there than I'm sure
it was
the regular
really solid work.
translation team would have been allowed to. And yeah, thanks for doing that, because otherwise this game would not have been there for us, and we would be forever wondering.
Bro.
Exactly. Yeah, there was a whole list of fan translators at the end of the credits there, and they all did a bang up job, and I think fan translation is fighting the good fight. So your guys' effort is really, really appreciated.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. All right. Well, thank you everybody so much for listening. We hope that you will rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. If you do, we might read your review on the show like we just did for those
Very
last
likely
3.
will.
Next episode, we will again have a little break as we do a bonus episode before we then jump into Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.